Hello, hello, happy Friday. Back once again with another MGG live. Shouts out to everyone who's watching live in a new location. This live may be a bit shorter because um, there's a bit of a hailstorm happening outside here in Maryland. So I'm trying to be very conservative with the power that I'm using. And also the power's already gone out. And so we don't necessarily want that to distract us from this live. So there'll be a bit of a truncated session here today. I'll go over our headlines. I'll go over our Ask MGG question, but I will not be able to get to certain segments today. I'll have those pre-recorded and put those up when we're ready. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get started. If you happen to be watching live, thank you so much. Please ignore my reader's tongue. I had some water ice before this, so I'm looking at myself going, Keisha, your tongue is so red. Prop this up here. How's everybody's Friday going? I know we are in what week? Hey, there we go. We are in week 8 of quarantine, and it's been I think that the best way to describe it is that it feels a little bit Groundhog Day-ish. You know, when you start to make a little bit more of a stride in your day, I'm working out every morning, drinking my water, making sure I'm meditating. Sometimes you wonder what the actual day is, right? So with Mother's Day coming, and this new type of quarantine situation, shout out to the mamas. Happy Mother's Day to, those who are mothers by choice, by birth, by whatever you may be doing. If you're raising someone else, you a mama. So thank you so much. But today I'm just going to go ahead and get into these headlines because I'm still using this different software. I know last week it was a little bit iffy, but what I am going to do is just hop into these headlines here and make sure that I can share my screen. If you happen to be watching live today, I am only streaming inside of the Garden Club and YouTube, and I triple checked that before I went live today, which is why I came down a little bit later. But just so we can get this thing started, the first article I'm going to go ahead and drop into the comment section here that you can keep ahead with that is going to be around exercising during quarantine. Now, it is not a woman of color specific article. The next one will be. But this was a really great article that I picked up because I don't know if anybody else is tired of walking around the neighborhood or finding new folks that do yoga. It becomes a thing. So let's break this article down. Y'all with me? All right. So this is straight from Cannabis Life Network. I love this website. I wasn't familiar with it up until about a few months ago, but it's pretty much just like a cannabis lifestyle website. Of course, they've got the pop culture fodder, but they go everything from education to business to law. This particular article I thought was pertinent as we are following into Mental Health Awareness Month. One of the things that I've struggled is maintaining a routine when it comes to working out. So I thought I'd love to share this article with you all. They go over some different ways to kind of keep your immune system up. You don't necessarily have to spend a bajillion dollars on a home gym, but if you want to keep thriving, as we've been saying since early March, if you want to keep thriving during this COVID-19 as best you can, you definitely want to move a little bit more. So if anyone is like me, I am constantly finding YouTube instructors to do quick workouts with. Now, these particular instructors I haven't used before. I actually will list one of my favorite exercise instructors that I use on YouTube. But basically, the gist of this: if you have problems keeping that routine, go ahead and follow someone on YouTube. You'd be surprised how many articles will deviate you to finding a really good fitness instructor, especially one that is pertinent to your exercise level, right? I don't know if it was just me, but yoga, let me pull up on the screen here. But yoga hits a little harder during COVID-19. So before, my downward facing dog, if you're familiar with the heels here, wasn't going. But now I'm actually dropping my heels down. I feel a little bit more flexibility. So, yoga, in addition to finding an instructor who you love, who you may model yourselves after, that would be your best bet in finding like some really good home workouts. So yoga, finding an instructor, targeting the legs. So a lot of these workouts just basically came from YouTube videos. Now, this actually, let's see if I can pull this up here. I'm going to pull up one of my favorite motivational speaker, exerciser, YouTubers, does really great workout instruction.
Standout designs start with you.
Shout out to the
Canva is the simple design tool.
Go ahead and get that, but disclaimer in the beginning. But she really keeps your heart rate up there. I like the fact that she's a woman of color. I'm able to follow her moves, follow her steps. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to follow folks who are doing workouts in at home. So she's a great example of that. Second person I really like is it Fit Body by Ashley. So I typically, like I said, like to find women of color who look like me, who may not necessarily have the same body shape as me, but the music, you can hear it. It's a little bit less stiff than some of the actual workouts that you see on other, that other YouTubers do. So shout out to Ashley, one of my, as you can see, favorite YouTube fitness instructors. She does a really great job, and get a chance, check out some of these channels here. I'm going to drop the link to her video just in case you want to follow along. So that's headline number 1, getting your exercise in while you are at home. That is really, really important for thriving. That's really, really important for mental health. And the best way you can do that is finding someone or finding something that can keep you motivated, right? All right, so the second article here, and I'm going to go ahead and let the article shine for itself, is entitled, "This Black Cannabis Advocate is Shifting the Narrative Around Weed During the COVID-19 Pandemic." Now, this was a really good article that came up on my alerts. Excuse me there, came up on my alerts, and it tells the story of Sojourn Burnett. She's the co-founder of the cannabis immersion and advocacy platform Humble Bloom. So I hadn't heard of this platform beforehand. Excuse me. I typically have an 8 o'clock family call, and I tell them every Friday, y'all, I'll call you afterwards. But I hadn't heard about this particular individual before this alert came across my desk, but I was super excited to continue reading, and I encourage you all to move past the ads and take a gander in this article here. So it talks a lot about her experience, how the work that she's doing, how to help balance folks. One of the takeaways that I loved in this article was the 4 M's: meditate, medicate, masturbate, and motivate. I'm not sure where you fall in that, but I do know that, those 4 things are saving a lot of folks' life: cannabis, meditation, masturbation, or some type of sexual release, and motivation. So when you get a chance, check this article out. It was a really great read. I was excited to see it on Refinery 29. They typically lean towards more of a different aesthetic. But one of the goals that I got as I pulled away from this article was, it's really, really important to support people of color, women of color, brands of color, because they typically weren't allowed to receive those government funds, those loans, or small business grants. They weren't going to those small businesses. So keeping that business in order is really, really important. And yeah, so support your Black businesses. Check out the article when you get a chance, and just try to stay really, really balanced. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. We don't need y'all stressing out. Okay? So that's our headlines there. I'm going to move through what's happening next. Let's see if my screen will act correctly here. But if you happen to be watching me live, or you are catching the replay of sorts, be sure to let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm actually about to pull up some informational slides here that are just not wanting to do what I want them to do. All right, let's see. Boom. So this is how I've got to share things since I'm on this new software, 1111. Shout out to that. Of course, what we've got coming up, if you are familiar with our Facebook community where this is actually streaming live at right now, we have got Myths About Cannabis coming up, our MGG After Dark. Super excited to bring that to you. We'll have our very open but safe conversations around some of the myths that we've endured around cannabis, whether it's personal or professional. I typically drop the headlines for MGG Live, any type of information that we have coming up that goes there first. So be sure to join the Garden Club when you get an opportunity to. Next up, our Empire Confessionals. We are still advertising for these slots. Got a few folks that we've got in the lineup over the next couple of weeks, but we want to make sure that we send this invitation to you. So are you ready to sit on the throne? Would you love to talk about your experience as it relates to cannabis? Be sure to send us an email, hit us up however you can see us, find us, and let's talk about your experience. The Empire Confessionals is a Ask Me Anything style interview where we get the opportunity to have you tell your stories, have you talk about your products and services, and also have the audience be able to understand exactly what you do as a woman of color, person of color in this cannabis space. So we are super excited to offer that. Our third segment that we typically do is our Shop Woman of Color in Cannabis. As you know, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of brown and Black businesses were not able to get those PPE, small business grants. Cannabis is still a federally illegal substance. And, those types of monies don't flow down to the industry. They also don't flow down to solopreneurs, freelancers. So it was just hard. Unless you were Ruth Chris or, what's the other? Shake Shack. A lot of big corporations got those bailouts. So we're hoping with this particular segment, we're able to give back to women of color by giving them a platform to talk about their products and services free of charge. No money coming our way. We have other ways that we want to monetize our platform, but this isn't one of them. So Shop Women of Color in Cannabis. If you're interested in talking about your product on the show live, feel free to shoot us a video. We'll send you, or feel free to shoot us an email. We will send you a formal description of what you should say, how you should say it, if you want it to be recorded, or we'll just email you some information that we need to gather to be able to read live on the air. So once again, if you are looking to get your shine on, where'd you go? There we go. All right, there we go. If you are looking to get featured on the profile during the week, we'd love for you to submit a high resolution photo of the product or logo, have a legal entity or business. We are working on something for our legacy to legal transition market folks, and have a way for us to pay, because even if you guys shoot us a Venmo, Cash App, Stripe, some way for us to send you money, some way for the audience to be able to send you money and support you during this time, that's what we're going for. So I also would love to talk about, this is getting smoother, y'all. I like the smoothness of it. We have got our grow sessions with Madam Green Grow coming up. Let's bring that full screen. So starting on May 17th, y'all, we are rolling through. Every Sunday following May 17th, we'll be talking about indoor cultivation, how to grow virtually, right? So once again, we've given this disclaimer every time we've brought up grow sessions, but if you are, we are not responsible if you are growing in an illegal or in a situation where you're not able to do that. You take all the risk and responsibilities, but hey, we're going to talk about how to grow. We'll talk about what you need. We'll bring on some of our friends who grow fire, who've taught us some great techniques. We'll talk about light. We'll talk about soil. We'll talk about all the things that you need to do to get started on your grow. Because guess what, y'all? Cannabis is expensive. And if you are able to grow at home or grow in your space legally, we want to make sure that we're able to help you out. So that link goes out to our newsletter gang every Friday. If you haven't signed up, please be sure to sign up. We already shipped out our first emails around 4:20. I typically do a resend on Saturday morning, so you haven't missed it. It's not all lost. But yeah, we're looking forward to session and talking about growing with you in the month of May, in addition to it being Mental Health Awareness Month. So, like I mentioned earlier in the show, this was going to be a bit of a shorter show because of the fact that it's a bit of a rain hail situation that's happening where I am. So I'd rather stay safe, keep my electronics away. I'm so, Grandma, keep my electronics plugged up and away from the outlets so no surges happen. But feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, if you have any comments or feedback about what we're doing, how we're doing it. Feel free to join us in the Garden Club, where we'll be talking about all things women of color and cannabis. And we will see you on the internet over the next couple of days. Things are going to be hot and popping. So let me go ahead and hop off, calm the storm seas down. Once again, thank you so much for joining us for MGG Live. Have a great Friday. If you're watching this via that replay, hey, you joined. That's all that matters. We here. We made it. Hope y'all made it through the week. I'll see you later. Peace.